Score holiday gifts everyone wants for way less at your Nordstrom Rack store. Save on UGG, Nike, Rag & Bone, Vince, Frame, Kurt Geiger London, and more.
Because there's always something new.
I'm giving all the gifts this year with that extra 5% off when I use my Nordstrom credit card. Santa who?
Join the Nordy Club at Nordstrom Rack to unlock our best deals. It's easy. Big gifts, big perks. That's why you rack.
Come to DSW for the shoes, stay for the fun. Because let's be honest, if shoe shopping isn't fun, are you even doing it right? So go ahead, try something new. Try something different. Good different. Try something that feels like you. You know, the real you. And then definitely brag about it later. Because at DSW, you've got unlimited freedom to play. With sneakers, boots, and everything in between for every style, mood, and occasion, you'll definitely find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. DSW, let us surprise you.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Looking for these better days.
It is Football Friday, October 10th. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. The New York Giants pull off the upset, defeating the Philadelphia Eagles last night at the Meadowlands, 34-17, in what was a celebration of both Giants rookies, Jackson Dart and Cam Skattebo. And let's talk NFL football. Jared Smith with me here on this Football Friday edition of Better Day, presented by FanDuel. And Jared, let's start with Thursday Night Football from last night. Everybody singing the praises of Jackson Dart and Cam Skattebo. Skattebo with 3 touchdowns last night for the New York Giants. I think that was like 50-1 or whatever crazy odds it was for Skattebo to score 3 touchdowns. But when you watch that game, did that performance last night tell you more about the New York Giants, or did it tell you more about the Philadelphia Eagles?
Eagles. I mean, well, first of all, they turned it over a couple times. The pick in the red zone really was the key.
Yeah.
I think if the Eagles score a touchdown on that drive and they get within 3, all bets are off. You know, I think it could have gone either way, but I think that pick sealed the game. Here's what I see when I watch Philly. Zero creativity. None. As vanilla as it gets. We talked about it last week, right? When they're in shotgun, they pass. When they're in pistol or under center, they run. And then
in the first play of the game last night, I
first
texted
play
you.
of the game, pistol, run.
Pistol.
I said it. I was watching. I was like, they're running it. I said it. I was watching the game. They're in pistol. I'm like, they're running it. And again, if I coach 12-year-olds, Scott, if I'm figuring this out, what do you think other actual professional defensive analysts are figuring out? Like, it's not rocket science here. And we talked about it preseason. They promote from within Patullo. They bring in Scott Loeffler to be the quarterback's coach, even though Loeffler has more play calling experience, more head coaching experience, more offensive experience. I thought that was a very curious hire. What it told me was they don't trust Patullo. What I think will happen is Patullo will be the scapegoat. He'll get fired. They'll promote Loeffler. He'll start calling plays. And we'll see. Because right now, it looks like a very vanilla bland offense. And they're not getting pushed in the run game, whereas last year, they were getting pushed in the run game. Saquon was exploding in the fourth quarter with those, kind of back-breaking runs. They're not getting those this year because other than the tush push, they can't run the ball, and they're false starting on every tush push. It's actually crazy. I noticed it tonight. The guard is moving first every time, and the center is snapping it off the guard's movement. I know it's tough to see in real time, but the fact that they haven't called it once yet is mind-boggling to me, and the Eagles keep getting away with it. If they don't get that tush-push touchdown where they did it 4 times in the first quarter, I don't know if they score the whole game after that first opening drive touchdown they had. So just a very weird offense for the Eagles right now, and their defense ain't helping them either.
Well, I mean, losing Quinyon Mitchell to an injury last night hurt. Not having Jalen Carter play in that game at all was certainly a big factor. I mean, look at what happened in that first game against the Dallas Cowboys when he gets ejected before the first snap, and Javonte Williams and the Cowboys run all over them. And then last night, Cam Skattebo and the Giants run all over them. So clearly, Jalen Carter is a very important player to this Philadelphia Eagles interior defense. And then, they picked on the secondary. Once Quinyon Mitchell went out, they picked on the secondary, the Giants did, and I give them credit for it. You mentioned the tush push. Jared, I tweeted it out last night. It's getting banned. It is 100%
Yes.
getting banned this offseason. I cannot tell you how many people. I mean, you talk about the officiating aspect of it. There was a Giants player that got hurt on one of those tush push plays as well. Plus, it's bad television. This is an entertainment product. They change the rules all the time in a variety of sports. If Major League Baseball, the sport that doesn't want to change ever, can make rules to make the game more visually pleasing to the audience, to speed up the game by putting a pitch clock in, to institute the ban on the shift so that we can get more hits in the ball game, the NFL can make a change to make a play like this and ban it, and I think they're going to.
100%. Number one, first and foremost, it's an illegal play. It is an illegal. Like, I know I tweeted out a similar thing last night. Someone hopped into my mentions and was like, "Oh, well, then why did they lie about it and say that it was an injury risk?" That was politicking. That was the Packers politicking to try to get rid of it. Now, after I've now had a chance to really watch it and hear other people dissect it, it is an illegal play. The center is snapping the ball off the guard moving. It is not allowed in football. I don't care about the injury risk. That is a soft reason to ban it. I agree with you that they change rules for entertainment purposes. That is something to consider. But the main number one reason why it should be banned, it is not a legal football play. The guard is moving first, and then the center, great timing. They communicate it well. It's like kind of hypnotic in a sense. The center, as the guard moves, is snapping it. And it is to get that extra little, leverage that they can, dig out in the bottom of that barrel, and it gives at the bottom of the pile, and it gives the Eagles an unfair advantage. It is not a legal play. That's why it should be banned. Number one reason, first and foremost.
Yeah, because what's happening is the guard is attacking that nose tackle first, so he's chipping down.
Getting
then the
underneath
center
it.
comes in, exactly. Then the center comes in, and that's what allows Jalen Hurts to go over the top. So it's just
it's a loophole, but it's a loophole that now needs to be closed. The Eagles found the loophole and they exploited it for a long period of time. It's like your taxes. Everyone cheats and then you get caught and then you pay the fine. Like, that's just kind of the way I think it's going to go. And yeah, it's going to get banned this summer, I think.
Well, despite the loss, the Philadelphia Eagles are still the favorite up on FanDuel to win the NFC East. They are minus 125. The Washington Commanders are your second favorite at plus 175. Are the Eagles still, in your opinion, the class of this division, or can a team like Washington claim the division title this year?
Why not Dallas? I'll be honest. I think Dallas hung with Philly on opening night. I think both of those teams, the Giants, they play them again in 2 weeks. I'll be honest. I think the Eagles, they were outgained in all 4 games. They are very fortunate to be 4-2 and not 2-4 right now. I think there is a big opening. What is it? How many years in a row have we not seen a repeat winner in this division? Do the Eagles look like a team that is going to repeat and put the pedal down and all of a sudden start winning games? I mean, I think 10-7 might win this division this year. Probably 11 wins, I think, right? The Eagles win total pre-flop was 11.5. I don't see them getting to 12. I think 11 is their ceiling this year, unless they make some drastic changes on offense and their defense all of a sudden wakes up. So, yeah, maybe 10-7 sneaks this thing out. Maybe it's Dallas. Maybe it's Washington. Washington looks good. Washington looks really good.
21 straight years it is without the repeat champ in the NFC East. And this was a big win last night for my Giants. Win total over 5.5, especially after losing the game to the Saints last week. So you lose one and then you steal one, and that's what you have to do if you're going to hit some of these win totals. Is if you lose one where you think you almost preseason chalk it up as a win, you're going to have to steal one somewhere else. So the Giants lose to the Saints, they steal one here against the Eagles. Very important. If you told the New York Giants that after 6 weeks they'd be 2-4, I think they'd be very accepting of this schedule right now. They'd be very accepting of where they are. And now I'm just curious how the market is going to react to both of these teams moving forward. So the Giants will take on the Denver Broncos in Denver, and that's on the 19th. So you look at the Giants now, they will next Sunday, so they have the extended break here, and then they go to Denver, tough place to play. And then for the Eagles, Their next game is going to be at Minnesota against the Vikings. Again, you have the
Wow.
extended break, you have some time, but both teams are on the road. Will the Giants be an attractive dog in Denver against Bo Nix in that offense? Will the Eagles be dogs in Minnesota?
Mm. Well, Denver's got no bye after the London trip. That's a tough trip.
Yeah.
I heard, and I'm sure you did too, Mike Palm was on VSiN today talking to his Viking source, and he was saying how Kevin O'Connell couldn't imagine if they played a game this week after coming back from London.
Well,
And
they also spend 2 weeks. Well, the Vikings also
That's
spend
true.
2
They
weeks
did
away.
spend 2 weeks there. That is a good point. That is a good
Yeah.
point. They're sending the friggin' poor Browns on the road this week. That's only happened one time in the history of the NFL where teams come back from London and play a game the following week on the road.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that
That's
because
an
it's
insane
not
spot.
it's not just that. They're playing a team off of a bye too. It's
Coming
never happened
off of a bye. That has never happened in the NFL before. That is an
Never happened.
unprecedented situational spot. You can look at as many databases as you want. You ain't going to find any situations like that with a team coming back from a transatlantic flight, having to go on the road facing a team coming off a bye. Listen, I think Denver's legit. I think Denver is absolutely legit in the trenches. And I know that's something you've been really hot and heavy on recently. And you know how much I love studying offensive and defensive lines because that is where the game is won and lost. So it's tough for me to say that the Giants are going to stroll into Denver and push them around. I think Denver's playing much more fundamentally sound. I mean, we just saw what Denver did to Philly. The Eagles have not strung together 4 quarters all year. And I think that's where you really concern yourself when you try to analyze teams that have played the Eagles and then coming off and playing another team. Like, do we analyze Denver based on the second half against Philly or on the first half? So I think Denver's legit, though. I would not be jumping too heavy on the Giants train. The number preseason in May was 7.5. I'm guessing it'll be well under a touchdown when they stroll into Mile High in a couple weeks.
Especially, as you mentioned, given the situation with the Broncos coming back from London. So let's start with that game as we break down the Sunday schedule here of Week 6 in the NFL. And we'll start with that London game, the Denver Broncos against the New York Jets. Up on FanDuel right now, the Broncos a 7-point favorite, total of 43.5. And in this week's Trench Report, which is available right now up on BetterDay.com, this was identified as not just one of the top 5 biggest mismatches of the week. This was the number 1 mismatch in the trenches of the week with a massive differential. Only one of 2 grade A games this week. So that's something that I mentioned in the Trench Report video, is that of the 5 top mismatches, only 2 of them were grade A mismatches, the Denver Broncos being one of them over the New York Jets. What do you think, Jared? Because I kind of want to lay it here with Denver. I mean, I will, just because I'm playing the Trench Report things. But the fact that I don't have to make the 7.5s are gone, and now it's only 7, it makes it even more attractive here for me to lay it with Denver.
Agreed. I think 7's a good bet. I think I think the Broncos should win by 2 scores. So if we get to Sunday morning and it's 7.5, I still would bet it. The Broncos are what exactly we thought they were going to be. 5 weeks into the year, the data says they're an average offense, very good defense, above average. That's exactly what we expect them to be. Whereas the Jets are the exact opposite, dumpster fire. Data says they're bottom 5 defense, bottom 10 offense. But if you remove garbage time, right, in the fourth quarter when they're down 2 scores and Justin Fields is getting soft coverage and he's, dinking and dunking his way to a couple late touchdowns against the Cowboys, their numbers look much better. If you take away the fourth quarter, they're 30th in EPA per play on offense in the quarters 1 through 3. So they're just they're not well, and they're poorly coached. So now you're sending a team that's poorly coached on the road to London. They're 0-5, the only winless team, only team without a turnover. You couldn't pay me to bet on the Jets right now with your money.
Yeah, and also, don't you want to fade like a rookie coach going to the international trip for the first time? Like it would be a fade here of Aaron
Peyton
Glenn.
hasn't been overseas either, which is a weird quirk. He's been a coach for so long, but he has not been overseas either.
Okay, yeah, it's so. Here we
At least
go.
that's what I saw. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but the Saints never played there, and the Broncos didn't.
So this is from Evan Abrams of the Action Network. Glenn's the 17th rookie head coach to take his team overseas for an international series game, not facing a rookie head coach on the other sideline. Rookie head coaches are 9-7 straight up, though, winning 6 of their last 7 games straight up. Oh, okay. I don't think that means anything with a team as bad as the New York Jets, though. So
Yeah, it's
I
also a
think,
super small sample, and it's also
yeah.
very situational, right? We talk about this all the time. I don't like trends that aren't market based. That's not a market based trend. That's a
Hmm.
situational based trend where each head coach, each quarterback, each team is in a different situation when they
Yep.
go into that game. And it also doesn't say how big the favorites were, how big the underdogs were, right?
Yep.
Like we like market trends. We like when a team with this record is favored, right? Those are the types of trends that I put stock in because they're market driven, not situationally driven.
Let's move on to our first game of the early slate after the London game. The Browns are at the Steelers, and right now up on FanDuel, the Steelers 5.5 point favorites. Low total 38.5. This is the situational spot that we talked about, right? It is a Browns team that is coming back from overseas without a bye to play a team that's coming off of a bye in the Pittsburgh Steelers. You have the rookie quarterback in Dylan Gabriel, who had to go up against the Brian Flores defense in his first career start, now has to face Mike Tomlin, who owns rookie quarterbacks in a game. I mean, it's like they're begging you to take the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're
You
begging you to
have to.
take it, Jared.
I bet him first half and full game. I got 3 and 5.5. I try not to overthink things too much anymore. I think we get into this analysis paralysis mode where there's so much information available and there's always going to be a counter argument to every sharp piece of information you get. There will
Hmm.
always be someone else who is also smart who will probably be wrong, right? Because even the smartest people out there doing this are wrong 45 out of 100 opinions. There will always be a counterintuitive opinion. That's not to say that I'm right on this game. My point being, my read on this game is this is a brutal, absolutely brutal situational travel spot for Cleveland. Probably the worst we'll see in a long time. I'm not going to overthink it. They have a rookie starting quarterback making his first start stateside against the team coming off a bye that hasn't lived up to expectations defensively yet, with a quarterback against a really good pass rush. We talk about this. Oh, but the Browns' pass rush is really good. Go filter the time to throw rate in the NFL and see which quarterback gets the ball out of his hands the quickest. It's Aaron Rodgers at 2.5 seconds. The pass rush gets neutralized when you have a quarterback that maybe you want to say is playing a little bit scared, but he is not holding the ball long enough for the pass rush to matter. So that element of, well, the Cleveland defensive line is really good isn't as big of a factor in this game as you might think it will be. Hopefully they get the run game going. That would help, but I do think even without it, the Steelers win and cover this game.
Mike Tomlin against rookie quarterbacks, 30-6 straight up,
Pretty
and
good.
16-1 straight up in Pittsburgh. It's pretty good.
Also
Pretty pretty good number.
pretty good.
Chargers visit the Dolphins. The Chargers 4.5 point favorites, total of 43.5. I just don't know what to make of this Miami team right now. Obviously, Tyreek Hill's done, so Jalen Waddle takes over as the number one. They're getting incredible contributions from from Darren Waller at the tight end position. But the Chargers also, Jared, really banged up on the offensive line. Now they might get Joe Alt back here this week, but the injuries on the offensive line concern me here. I don't know how comfortable I am laying it on the road with the Chargers here, even with as bad as Miami is against the run. Oh, and the Chargers don't have a running back because Omarion Hampton's done. So it's Hassan Haskins, Kamani Vidal that are going to be running the football here with the Chargers.
Yeah, I have no play on this game. My lean was actually Dolphins plus the points, but I agree with you. It's really tough to say that they're going to bounce back in any considerable way after collapsing, just folding like
Yeah.
a tent in the second half against Carolina last week. I think the numbers say you bet Miami here as a home dog because of all the injuries on offense. But right when I zigged with the Chargers and came off of my opinion that they were a, meddling, I thought that Harbaugh turned a corner and they finally figured out how to win games in the fourth quarter. And then they've melted down the last 2 weeks. So I
Yep.
don't really have a strong opinion on this one.
All right, we move on to our next game. Patriots at the Saints. New England minus 3.5, total of 45.5. And this was identified in the Trench Report as the number 2 biggest mismatch of the week, the Patriots over the New Orleans Saints. Now, I know a lot of people, Jared, have mentioned the tough scheduling spot, the potential letdown / look ahead here with New England playing 3 consecutive road games. They're coming off the win in Buffalo, huge win. Now they have this New Orleans game before, where do they go next week? Tennessee to take on Mike Vrabel's former team in the Titans. Does that concern you at all,
No.
or are you with me and you're laying it here with the Patriots?
I don't think those spots matter in the NFL that much. I really don't. I think these guys are pros. They're playing for a game check. I think Vrabel, I was actually surprised that the Patriots started a little bit sluggish under Vrabel. It looks like they're getting better each week. Drake May looks like the real deal. He outplayed Josh Allen on Sunday night. I don't have a strong vibe on the game outside of New England. This should be belt to ass. I think the Saints win was very fluky last week. They had 5 turnovers. One of them returned for a touchdown. I think Spencer Rattler is just a very below average talent that has a really good scheme, so they can kind of smoke and mirrors you. But when you look at his numbers, they're just not that impressive. I think the Saints defense hangs in there. They're a tough, gritty team. But I think the Patriots are also a tough, gritty team. And I would not look too much into that look ahead spot. I don't think look ahead spots in the NFL, I don't really think exist that much. Coming off of tough games, I think do, but look aheads, I don't think they're really a big factor. In college, I think they matter a little bit more than they do in the NFL.
I agree. And Vrabel is the type of coach that I don't think lets his team have a letdown. Yeah, not against New Orleans Saints. The Seahawks visit the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jags -1.5 coming off of that impressive win against the Kansas City Chiefs, Jared.
Yeah, you would think Seattle here's the play. The Seahawks have been one of the most consistently explosive teams in the NFL. One of 2 teams in the NFL, top 5 in both explosive play rate on offense and defense. The Jags, listen, they gave up 7.5 yards per play to the Chiefs on Monday night. They were very fortunate to escape that game with a win. If the Chiefs don't commit a gajillion penalties, the Jaguars lose that game. This feels like one of those games where we've seen Trevor Lawrence, like they're going to show you the highlight of the stumble Ruski, but they're not going to show you the brutal throws before that almost led to interceptions. They're going to show you the one great throw to Thomas and then the weird, wacky run. But Trevor Lawrence was begging to throw that game away. And on the other side, Jacksonville leads the NFL in takeaways by a significant margin. They have 14 takeaways in 5 games. That's 4 more than the next closest team. I just don't think that's sustainable. So Seattle coming off that weird game where they gained 8.5 yards per play and lost. Like this feels like a perfect spot for that flip where you had the fluke results go the other way, right? Jacksonville got outplayed, won. Seattle outplayed, lost. It just, your natural instinct the next week is just to play the other side of that.
I tweeted out on Monday watching that game. I said, is Trevor Lawrence blind? Because there's some moments throughout the game where, and kudos to Aikman for pointing it out several times, where he was like, he's open. You got to throw him the ball. ETN's right there. You got to throw him the ball. You got to get it out now. Get it out now. And still Trevor Lawrence is like rolling out and like looking downfield and throwing it in between 2 defenders and having an incomplete pass. So there's moments where I absolutely question whether or not Trevor Lawrence can actually see. But then he goes and throws an absolute dot to Brian Thomas Jr. and shuts everybody
That was
up,
one of the best throws of the year, but he had 2 absolute brain farts before that.
Yes.
Just in, thousands of winter arrivals at your Nordstrom Rack store. Save up to 70% on coats, slippers, and cashmere from Kate Spade, New York, Vince, UGG, Levi's, and more.
Check out these boots.
They've got the best gifts.
My holiday shopping hack? Join the Nordy Club.
Get an extra 5% off every Rack purchase with your Nordstrom credit card. Plus, buy it online and pick it up in store the same day for free. Big gifts, big perks. That's why you Rack.
Come to DSW for the shoes, stay for the fun. Because let's be honest, if shoe shopping isn't fun, are you even doing it right? So go ahead, try something new. Try something different. Good different. Try something that feels like you. You know, the real you. And then definitely brag about it later. Because at DSW, you've got unlimited freedom to play. With sneakers, boots, and everything in between for every style, mood, and occasion, you'll definitely find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. DSW, let us surprise you.
If you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or personal loans, help is here. More and more Americans turn to credit cards to get by. National Debt Relief is helping qualified clients reduce what they owe. For many, continuing to struggle making minimum monthly payments could take years to pay off. National Debt Relief has already helped over 550,000 Americans reduce their debt by negotiating directly with their creditors. When you call, you'll be amazed at how much you can save and how quickly you can become debt-free. If you want off the debt treadmill, visit nationaldebtrelief.com today. You don't need to declare bankruptcy, and you may qualify for significant debt relief. To find out what savings you may qualify for, simply visit nationaldebtrelief.com. That's nationaldebtrelief.com.
Weight loss solutions are not one size fits all. Hers makes it simpler to get started and stick with a weight loss plan, backed by expert-guided online care that puts your weight loss goals first. These include oral medication kits or compounded GLP-1 injections. Through Hers, pricing for oral medication kits start at just $69 a month for a 10-month plan when paid in full upfront. No hidden fees, no membership fees. You shouldn't have to go out of your way to feel like yourself. Hers brings expert care straight to you with 100% online access to personalized treatment plans that put your goals first. Reach your weight loss goals with help through Hers. Get started at forhers.com/4u to access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss plans. That's forhers.com/4u, forhers.com/4u. Paid for by Hims and Hers Health. Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions at forhers.com. Apply.
Cardinals are at the Colts. Right now, Colts 7.5-point favorites, total of 46.5. And obviously, the status of Kyler Murray is going to influence the market here and the line. He did not practice for another day on Thursday. We'll wait to see what his practice is like here on Friday. But judging by this week, I would think that this is a Jacoby Brissett game for the Arizona Cardinals, Jared.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, I think we talk about it too with this Colts team. We have to throw out the priors, guys. Like, we just do. Right? We discussed it offensively, like, can Daniel Jones keep this up? The obvious answer is not at this rate, but Jonathan Taylor's legit, and Steichen is, giving them winners. I mean, he's just serving them like platters on platters. Like, hey, these are easy winners. And Jones is executing them. They're layups, right? And some quarterbacks like Anthony Richardson can't hit the layups, but Jones can. And they've got a good run game. And what did we talk about a couple weeks ago when they played the Rams? Like, this defense, guys, I think the secondary is a little bit patchwork, right? You had the poor, what's his name, retired midweek after getting toasted by Nakua. His name's eluding me right now, but I did the film study.
Howard.
That's week. Yeah, Xavier Howard. Thank you.
Yeah.
The secondary's patchwork, but the front seven's legit. Like, they have some guys that can rush the passer, and they have a couple of decent linebackers that can kind of fill gaps. And Anarumo, you're watching it with Cincy, guys. It wasn't his fault that they were bad. Like, the personnel stinks. And I think Anarumo is still at his core a really good schemer. And if you give him some decent talent up front, he can kind of put some pieces together. This is the Colts team. They're one of two teams in the NFL, top 5 offense and defensive EPA per play. And the Lions are the only other one, and they're barely fifth and fifth in both. Colts second and fourth. I mean, Indy's a legit team. And maybe Jones is kind of a punchline, but I think the Colts are for real, guys.
Jared, you didn't know that Howard he played 4 games, so his red shirt is still eligible.
Yeah,
so he opted out now so that he can get the red shirt year back. It's smart. It's a smart thing to do.
He went home and made toast. He went home and made toast after getting
Rams at the Ravens. LA is -7.5. And again, the market telling us that Lamar Jackson's not going to play once again, as he has yet to practice this week for the Baltimore Ravens. This was a game that was identified in the Trench Report as the number 5 mismatch out of the top 5s, with the Rams over the Baltimore Ravens. With no Lamar and this defense looking as bad as it's been, the only way to look in this game is the Rams, in my opinion.
It's the only way to bet it. Or the over, right? Or Rams team total over.
Sure.
I do think you'll get something from Cooper Rush. I do think you'll get something from Derrick Henry. I do think they will show some desperation. They will try to pull out some rabbits. I still like Monken as an offensive play caller, but it should be one-way traffic here. I did take over 44.5. I think I would take Rams if it ever touched 7. I think that's the way I would play it.
Like it. Cowboys are at the Panthers. Cowboys -3, total of 49.5. And Rico Dowdle coming off of a game where he rushed for over 200 yards. Now he gets to face his former team in the Dallas Cowboys. I will say this, in the Week 6 Trench Report, this game was identified as one of the rushing mismatches. But Jared, it was both ways. The third biggest rushing mismatch between run blocking and run defense was the Panthers over the Cowboys. Number 4 was the Cowboys over the Panthers. So both teams should be able to run on each other in this game.
Yeah. So one of the big surprises when I look at some of the macro numbers for the year, I never would have guessed through 5 weeks, Carolina's defense is third in EPA per play. Not terrible competition either. Jags, Pats, Cardinals, Falcons, Dolphins, those are all top 22 offenses, so they have not faced the bottom 10 offense yet. This is stunning. I mean, they finished dead last in EPA per play in 2024, and now they're top 5. Is it sustainable? Probably not. They've had some swing games, right, where the pendulum is drastically swung and back and forth. Maybe that's, skewing the numbers a little bit. I think at Dallas's core, they're a bend but don't break offense, right? We talk about this a lot with these high total games. This one's in the 50 burger range. I saw first half total in the 24.5, 25 range. Anytime a first half total is above 24, I'm looking to play under if I have a good reason. And the reason you just mentioned, run. The clock's going to keep ticking. If any of those drives end in field goals, not touchdowns, it is going to be really tough to get over a total of 50. Especially when you're running it, you're not putting the ball at risk too much either for turnovers and those fluke plays. So this is one of those games that I'm getting tickled with under vibes, even though at its surface, you're seeing an over kind of game script with the offenses. But maybe Carolina's defense isn't as bad as we think. Maybe we're going to see a lot of run and the clock continue to kind of move. And maybe we get a red zone boo-boo from Bryce Young, right? Because we haven't seen it from Dak, who's looked like a top 10 quarterback so far this year.
Good, great points. Titans come to Vegas to take on the Raiders. Raiders 4.5-point favorites, total of 41.5. And I'll say this. If Geno Smith turns the ball over 3 more times and the Raiders lose to this Titans team, now if they just lose a hard-fought game, okay, that's fine. But if they lose because Geno turns the ball over multiple times again, Pete Carroll cannot put him out there at quarterback in their next game.
Yeah, they've run it a little better the last 2 weeks. They're 9th in rushing success rate over the last 2 weeks compared to 24th for the season. So they've started to figure out, right? And I had a feeling, right? One of the film studies I did in the offseason was, praising Chip Kelly and how he got that Ohio State run game, essentially getting them to the national championship and winning it with pretty much a run game and then a couple play action gadgets off of it. And a great defense. Take nothing away from Knowles and the defense, although this year Knowles is kind of fallen off a cliff. That's another story for another day. But I thought we would see this run game eventually figure it out. And now they have. So maybe that's the answer. You want to play against the Titans after what was an unfathomable win last week. I mean, just I don't even know how to explain it. If you lost your Survivor on that, I'm sorry. That's why Survivor is the biggest ball sack tournament in the history of sports, because it's just one stupid play like that could ruin your entire situation. I love Cam Ward's upside, but the ceiling is as high as the floor is low. And I think the Titans are still a dumpster fire coaching wise. So I think the Raiders run it. I think they win it. And I think everyone in Vegas kind of calms down for a minute. But you couldn't pay me to lay points with the Raiders right now. I think Vegas wins and covers, but doesn't mean I have to bet it.
Exactly. 49ers are at the Bucks. Tampa, a 3-point favorite here, total of 47.5. It's going to be a Mac Jones game at quarterback, and you wonder just what other injuries are the 49ers are dealing with, who's going to play. I believe Jennings might, he's been iffy in practice here, so it looks like another Kendrick Bourne game possibly here with Mac Jones, and just relying on Christian McCaffrey. Now, the question is, will this be another game, Jared, where it comes down to the final 2 minutes? Every single one of the Tampa Bay Bucks wins this year have come in the final 2 minutes. They are the cardiac kids this season, and Baker Mayfield is king clutch so far in the 2025 NFL season.
Here's your hot take of the day. He's the MVP of the league through 5 weeks. Now, does that mean he's going to win the award? Maybe not. I think it all comes down to how many wins you compile as a quarterback. right? MVP is a very easy formula to predict these days. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. You win 12 plus, you finish as a top 2 seed, and you're the quarterback of that team. That's it. You do those things, you check those boxes, you've got a decent shot to win MVP. And right now, he is checking all those boxes. If they go
third favorite right now. He's the third favorite right now, plus 700.
I bet him. Wow, 7-1. I bet him 14-1 like Monday.
That's great.
Wow.
Yep.
Maybe I move the market. Probably not. I think he deserves to be the favorite right now, even though he won't be because of narrative. But I think he is. If the season ended today, he's the MVP of the league. I had a quote from our BetUS show today. Shout out Kevin O'Neill, does a great job with us. He said, "Just bet the dog in every Bucks game. You'll probably finish above 500 for the season." Like that, I feel like that's the sharpest analysis I can give you on Tampa Bay right now, based off of what I've seen.
Yeah, whether it's them or the other team,
doesn't matter. Bet the dog in every Bucks game this year. You're probably going to finish above 500 ATS.
Here's one that is it's a tough one. When I saw it identified in the Trench Report, and I said, I don't want to lay 2 touchdowns, but the Green Bay Packers over the Cincinnati Bengals was identified as one of the top 5 mismatches. Now you get Joe Flacco coming in and starting days after arriving. This feels like the most vanilla playbook we're ever going to see from the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, their offensive line has been trash, so I can't bet Chase Brown to go over his rushing yards, but I kind of want to bet Chase Brown to go over his rushing attempts, because I just feel like this is going to be such a vanilla game plan that they're just going to try and run the ball and get out of Dodge here. How much are they really going to put on Joe Flacco's plate against the Packers?
We actually have precedent for this, not in a trade. The trade is unprecedented. Having a division rival trade their week 1 starting quarterback to another team in the division middle week and have that guy start. That is unprecedented. We have seen a quarterback sign with a team in the middle of the week and start, right? Baker a couple years ago.
Baker with the Rams.
3 years ago. I forget what year, 22, I think.
And that was a Thursday night game.
And they won the game.
Yeah.
They beat the Raiders. So there is now, to be fair, Baker was much younger in his prime, going to Sean McVay. And I like Stefanski, but you just don't have, it's not the same situation. It is a different situation. There's a much worse situation for Cleveland. They're also on the road, not playing the Raiders, who were terrible that year. They're playing a good Packers team that is coming off a weird tie off a bye week. So my gut says you just don't right? What did we talk about with the prior games, right? With that Browns-Steelers situation. Don't overthink it. Don't try to get cute here and bet like a first half Browns or a prop or something. This should be belt to ass the whole game. And you either bet the Packers or you lay off the game. That's the way I see it.
And what a weird situation where this is the second game in 3 weeks that Joe Flacco's playing against the Green Bay Packers. He got the win against them with the Browns.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, that's another reason to bet the Packers. Oh, my God. I forgot about the revenge Browns narrative. Great point.
So now the Bengals come into town with the Packers coming off the bye, and a vanilla playbook here for the Bengals. This is just a bad spot here for Flacco to be in. So, the play is the Green Bay Packers. All right, let's go through a couple of more here. Actually, we just got one more, and that's the Sunday night game, because we actually have 2 Monday night games, so we'll get to those coming on Monday's show, Monday Night Doubleheader. So Sunday Night Football, the Lions are at the Chiefs. Kansas City, a 2.5-point favorite, total of 52.5. Now, this did not come up as a top 5 mismatch in the Trench Report this week, but as I explained to the audience, with all the 5 picks being favorites, I said if you were looking for a dog play, the biggest discrepancy for any underdog was the Detroit Lions. If you were interested in a dog play, it did not make the top 5, and it wouldn't even be graded as a grade B game. We're talking like a grade C or grade D. It's like not a big mismatch here, because I do think the Chiefs improved their numbers last week with the performance against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, these numbers change every single week here. That being said, Lions go on the road, facing a Chiefs team coming off a loss. Feels like a spot I want to back Mahomes and company against the Detroit Lions. But, I mean, Jared, can we make an argument that no team has been upgraded more since week number 1 of the NFL season than the Detroit Lions? Like, are they 1, 2, 3 in your power ranking right now? Where are they?
It's a good question. Let me look right now. No, I'm actually, I'm 3 points up on Detroit from the start of the year. Yeah. I've
There you have
upgraded
it.
them significantly. They're actually at the top. They're actually the number one team in my power ratings right now.
There you have it.
But Kansas City's right there.
Mhm.
They're a
Sure.
point back. I mean, and that's why they're like, people are like, why are they a favorite in this game? People, do you watch the games? Did you see what happened did you see Pat Mahomes go and just go crazy, 7.5 yards per play the other night? Like, this Chiefs offense is fine. That was a very unique ending to a game, and the Chiefs dominated the box scores. It is rare in the NFL you see a team win yards per play success rate and the turnover margin and lose the football game. Very rare. The market is telling you who the better team is in this game by making the Chiefs the favorite. Don't doubt the market. Don't be like, why? It's a trap. Vegas is trapping us. Like, stop. The line is right. Maybe you want to say it should be a pick 'em. Okay, but the Chiefs deserve to be at least a slight, maybe 1 point favorite in the game based off of the way I look at my numbers. So don't overreact to that. I think this feels like you know what this feels like? This feels like Ravens Lions 2 weeks ago. Ping pong, back and forth.
Yeah.
Both teams are in it. Someone's going to make a play late to win it. Who's going to be? Don't care. I bet the over, 52.5. I feel like both teams are getting into the high 20s and someone's getting a 30. Someone's getting 30 in this game.
All right. Well, that's something. Maybe we go both teams to go over their team total.
Or just both teams to get to 24. That's another good one, too.
Yeah, I like that. I was going to say.
That'll be plus money. That'll be plus money, probably.
Yeah, because I was going to say when doing both teams, like sometimes when like you have a lean towards an over or whatever, if you split your bets between both teams' team totals, I mean, at worst case scenario, it feels like you're just going to split. You know, if one of those teams goes and has a dominant performance, like you're not going to lose both of those bets unless it just goes completely.
But 27-24 or 28-24, you would win a plus money if both teams score, and you would
like
lose
that.
an over 52.5. So again, there is two scenarios where you could thread the needle and actually be on the right side of the wrong call in the game, but still, because you bet it properly, you're going to win money. I'm curious. It'll take me a second to pull it up. For both teams, you can pull up. BetMGM does a really good job of this, right? Both teams to score. It only gives you 20 or 30. If I dug, I'd probably find a book that can give you the exact totals. You'd probably have to bet each one individually and probably same game parlay it. But I bet you could find it, probably on DraftKings, probably will have it, where you can do a plus money, both teams to score 24 or more. I think that'd be an interesting wager for this game.
Yeah, I like that. That's something. Here we go. Both teams to score 25 on FanDuel is plus 182.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whopper. I would prefer 24 because I want to win on 27.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
But 25 at plus 180, that's a whopper of a number right there. Plus 180, man. It's almost 2-1.
Yep.
And again, the game total is 53 now. We're probably going to get, you would assume you'll get some more over money for a primetime game with the Chiefs and Lions. So you would assume we're going to close 53 or higher. 25 each. I know games don't land 25, but 25 each is 50. So
hey, 28-27 final. Let's go.
Yeah, 28, exactly. 26-25 final, and you win a plus 180, you would have lost the minus 110 on.
Interesting stuff there. All right, that'll do it for our NFL episode, but Jared is going to be with me for our Football Friday college football episode, also available right here on the Better Day podcast feed and up on betterday.com. And speaking of betterday.com, not only is the Trench Report up there under the research and analysis tab, also our fantasy football article for week number 6. I was joined by Jeff Erickson of RotoWire and SiriusXM Fantasy for our fantasy football conversation that is not available on the podcast feed. That is only exclusively for you Better Day subscribers. So go to the website, betterday.com, click on the research and analysis tab, click on the Better Day fantasy articles. You'll find the link there if you want to watch the interview with myself and Jeff Erickson, or just read the article with all the fantasy football advice for this weekend. And you can check out the Trench Report that goes up every single Wednesday on the website as well. Programming alert. Jared will be on Fox Sports Radio tomorrow, Saturday morning, his normal Saturday morning spot, 9 a.m. Eastern time. You want to make sure you tune into that. Get ready for college football. I'll be on VSiN tomorrow night, so we'll have the NFL preview show as well. And here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.